Okay guys, okay, 10 minutes to go. Here's another 10-minute review video from me. Hopefully this will be 10 minutes and no more. This was a game played by two of my students, Ben and Gonthas. And these two guys are very nicely matched against each other. They're 10 and 11 Q. Both of them are due to go to single digit Qs pretty quickly over the next month or so. And they play a lot of games, and they're very nice games to go because these guys are so matched and they're both learning as they go. But I'm going to run through this game and just look at not so much the mistakes. There aren't big errors in here. These guys are very tightly matched. But where they miss the direction or miss the flow of play, that's the theme of this video. Anyway, let's get straight into the game and take a look. So here we are. Gonthas is white and Ben is black. First move, upper right corner 4-4, lower left 3-4, upper left 3-4. Looks like Ben's going for a Chinese opening again. Lower right 3-4, and Ben decides to invade in between. Interesting fighty game. There's lots of split territories, and we'll see what happens. Gonthas goes for the upper left hand corner. Ben comes out. It's slightly questionable, but not terribly wrong there. The high approach, I'd have simply pincered low. White makes a base and black makes a base. Everyone's content, everyone's happy. What happens next? White gets a sente. So white approaches this corner, and I think this was the first of the interesting sequences for me, because black pincers. Now when we pincer that white stone, we expect to drive it into the corner, and so we get a wall on either the top side or the right side in exchange for white living deep in our corner. But in this case, white decided just to come out. It's not a terrible move, but it gives black lots of freedom. And what happened in this game is black jumped out. Now, what I'd like to see is I'd like to see this kind of hit, because now white has to do something in this area, either descend to S14 or make a wall at R13. If it doesn't, if white persists with, say, something like this, then black connects under and black gets all of the wall, which I think is a good outcome for black, because it leaves this stone here looking a bit lonely and isolated. So after, in the game, Ben did this, but in the sequence that I'm looking at, this one followed by something like here, or indeed a more obvious move for white is here. And then black makes the corner, and then white's got to do something about this black stone. It doesn't want to give it too much freedom, because black can give it up lightly and do this. But I think this is a more consistent approach to the game than what actually happens. So black then comes out, but the corner's wide open. The R16 and S16 points are wide open to white. So white attacks the black stone, and then black decides that the stone that was intended as just to press, just to pincer, is now vital and needs to be saved forever. So white comes out and black connects. So now black's completely committed to those three stones, and actually their shape is pretty heavy. So white goes to the corner. I think if this was me playing, without a doubt, I'd knock the base out of that stone, just like that, without even thinking. There is nothing else. Now those black stones have got no choice but to run. In the game, Gonthas went for the corner. We would expect to see black Hani here at R17, which indeed he does. And then white has to protect the stone. So white gets an eye in that area. But it's missing the point of how absolutely vulnerable and weak this shape is. It's a very, very weak shape by white. Even after this exchange, white could afford to rip the base off those black stones and make them run. Because even if black does something like this, white's got plenty of maneuvering room out here, that kind of move, or on the other side. It's okay for white. So these exchanges were a little bit strange. White played there, and then black made a base. The base is a bit wide, it's a bit ambitious, but that's the one. So white also made a base here, and then black made another approach move. Rather than the approach move, I would like to see you, Ben, do something much more solid, maybe attach the corner, this kind of thing, and just make the points. Use that little attack in the corner just to bank those points. You've just banked 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 6, 8, 11, 14, 15, maybe 20 points there. what does Gonthas do here? He comes out again. I'm going to look at this move in a future video. You've both done it a couple of times, and I don't like it very much. I think this stone at d6 is floating. It doesn't really have a base, as is the stone at e15 when Ben played it. But there we go. So black takes the base away from those stones on the side and develops the left side. White blocks, but the vital move is now into the corner, and black should just rip that corner out. No, it's not aggressive enough, Ben. This move, what have you got to fear? White here. Now what have you got to fear? If white Atari's here, you Atari here. White descends, you descend. White, black turns, and everything's good. I mean, white gets a corner, but there's not much going on. Either the 2 and 10 stone or the 8 stone's going to die. Okay. So what was going on there? This move wasn't aggressive because you know exactly what white's going to do. White's going to block the corner. So don't let your opponent play good shape moves, either of you. Black coming out, I think is fine. It protects that shape. So now let's look at the points on the board. Black down on this side has got 20 points. Black on this side has got another 20 points, 40. Black's got really nothing here at the moment. And black's got 15 up there, 55 points. White's got 10 here and 10 here, it's 20. 5 here, 25, and maybe 10 here, 45. So I think black's in better shape at this stage in the game. Okay, so white invades black's shape because this was a bit of a wide extension, and black comes on this side. I don't think that's wrong, but I'd have been a bit more aggressive and capped it like this. White's got no good move here. If this white does this, black does this. If white cuts black, what can white do now? Nothing. Does this work? No. Does this work? No. Nothing works here. So don't be afraid of these kind of simple moves, either of you. Don't be afraid. Because this means that white will now wedge up at f4. This is all about the direction of play, and it's understanding, it's reading 1 or 2 moves ahead and say, do I like the outcome? Because black, you've just actually almost signed the death warrant on your 2 stones on D and E, 3 and 4. So black then has to rescue them. So you're now having to rescue stones that you yourself put into jeopardy. White cuts, and white can connect now above or below, either way. So black connects, and white's now all connected. So white stones are connected, and black's chopped into, well, one group of stones that look like they're going to die. And even if black manages to wriggle them out by a Kosumi at f6, which isn't that move, then white's got a severe attack going. So white pushes up, and then black has to run. And this is really hopeless for black because white's dominating the game now. White pushes. White's all connected. There's nothing black can do to disconnect white. So white's just kicking black around on the board. And so black tries to get a grip back on the game, which is a nice move by Ben. White blocks. So again, this move, similar to the move that we just studied in the lower left, this is the attachment is much better because we get the Hane, and now black's shape is stronger and white's corner is much smaller. This is much better. So I think this move, Ben, isn't one that really works for you, and in fact it doesn't work for anyone. It's too slow, and actually white's response is simple, but it banks white 2 eyes, life and the corner, and that's not the kind of move that you should be giving your opponent. Our aim with our ghost stones is to give our opponent bad shape, not to give our opponent good shape. So black gets sent again. Where's black going to play? Black could turn at f6 and renew the attack over there, or take some points at somewhere like l17. This move I don't think does anything. There's no bad thing that's going to come about there. This is a waste of sente. Bad move by black. But black plays here. Does white respond? Yeah, white responds by coming out, which I think is a sensible thing to do. The connection, I think, was the wrong kind of move. And I think black needs to be playing this kind of move to connect all of the stones on the right side there together. So this move here, white's going to block, and white is strong again. White's now got a tiger mouth, plenty of ice ace, and all connected. It's strong. So again, this kind of move is much more powerful. Okay, so we're there and there and there. Now, black is almost cut into two groups here. I think if this were me, I would really want to play there just to make all of the badness go away, to make all the black's now unconditionally alive on the right hand side. There's nothing white can do about it, and there's no further agi in the situation. But after this move, Ben decided that the top right hand corner was the most urgent place on the board. And Gontha quite rightly said, no, it's not, it's here, because I can kill this black group. If you don't respond right now, my next move will be to Atari this stone. So black cut and white developed in this way. I think this sequence is much more powerful. What happens here? Black's got to run for some space in the corner, but black's only got 3 liberties and white has got 4. What can black do this? No, because black's still only got 3 liberties and can't cut. If black tries something like this, white's now got 4 liberties, 5 liberties in fact. Black's dead here. This is all hopeless for black. And it was because at this point, at this point, black just missed the focus of play, where the action was on the go board. The upper right hand corner, it wasn't really a sente, it was defending a few points. If you wanted to play in that area of the board, this is the big area of the board to play in, to take away the base of the black stones. But I'm afraid that this did nothing. White quite rightly cut, but then white failed to capitalise by playing here. So black ran for the corner. The run for the corner is wrong by black, because black's is simply hane and reduce the liberties of the white group. If black plays here, white's got 2 liberties. If white connects here, black connects here, the white group's still got 2 liberties and black has got 3. So what if white plays here? I think that then black, white, this becomes more difficult now, and now white will kill black. Does that sequence work out any other way? I think black has to run for the corner. Then white connects and everything's gone, so black can't lose that stone. Maybe black was right. White turns outside, terrible shape, empty triangle, we know all about that. White follows, the black stones are dying. White follows, black goes again, then white connects. So now it looks like these guys have got out, but these guys are going to die, and that's a big win for white. Black makes eye shape, gets away with it, and white assures that the 3 black stones above are dead. So in terms of this exchange, black's alive here, white's alive here, but white's got a territory that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 26, 30 points above that space. Okay, black makes a big point on the upper side. I'm glad about that. It's a good point. White plays this hane, connect, 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 squash out. I can see what you're doing, Ben, but I think the big point for you on this board is here, because that secures all that territory on the left. The top side territory is pretty secure, and you're not going to kill these white stones here. The other place that you could play, if you don't like the suggested move, is somewhere instead of that one, somewhere down like here to really restrict white. Okay, black, white, black, white. White's coming out and building the centre. Still think black's ahead on the board. What's the score estimator say here? Yeah, white by 17. Bigger than black. White turns again. These this turn move is just not a very powerful move, Ben, because you know exactly what white's going to do. White's going to block at 0-10, and therefore you've just given white great shape again in the form of that tiger mouth. Nice move, connecting. White cuts, you run. White's going to envelop the territory on the lower side. You block, white turns, you connect out. White comes, keeps running. White keeps running, and then white turns. White's got a lot of points out of that exchange. A lot of points. This move isn't the right move, because we know exactly what will happen here is that white will make another tiger mouth by playing here. That's what I would absolutely expect. And of course that's what happens in the game. So don't play it, just play this directly. And if white tries to hane, you hane white, and you're getting some territory out of this exchange. Faster moves for both of you is what I'd like to start seeing you go. Because now you're plodding along at one stone per turn, and white's going to do something dramatic like jump in at K10. There you go, K10. That's exactly where I would have played. Nice move, Gunther. Exactly there. It's destroying the potential that black is trying to build in this area of the board. Black comes out to split the white stones. White comes back and the cut takes place. But I think that white's got, because white has got cutting points here, 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 as well as lots of moves around here, I think black's going to be really challenged to keep a hold of this territory. So black comes out there, white keeps pushing, and now white's exchanging one side for the other and just gaining points off black. These two white stones, notice, are now pretty isolated, and so black could make a good centre territory out there, but it's too busy focusing on constraining white. White invades deep. This looks a bit ambitious to me, because I think that black will sit straight on top of its head at N17 with some nice shape. Now black extends out to the left to attack the white group, and it's quite a smart move by black. It's identified that not only is this stone weak, but this group is also currently weak with only one eye. So white blocks to make some eye space, and black starts the attack on the one stone. Yeah, your sequence works better. So white's died, black died, that's fine, that's fine. That's the nice move that we talked about earlier. Yeah. 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 Connect, yeah. Block. You're both of you here are playing moves that you know the outcomes of. Black blocks, black hanes, white's dead. That's not going to work, is it? That's close. Connect, white connect. Black Atari. White Atari. Black Atari. White Atari, black kill. White here, black cuts, good. It's an interesting one here because there's a direction of attack. For me, I would Atari in this direction, force white out, and then connect here. And that puts the whole of this white group here, because there's no eye here, white's only got currently one eye here, and you can squeeze that white group for eyes. I think by doing this direction of Atari, white gets all connected. Yeah, and white gets all connected. And there's a snapback has just emerged at this point here. So if white plays here, the snapback, white gets everything connected. So I think it's a much better outcome for white. White gets connected there, rather than, if we just go back to the point we're looking at here, rather than Ataring on that outside here, we're looking for this Atari and this connect on this side. Okay, this is all, that's still the snapback. Black ignores and connects, but Atari is those two. White misses, just misses a point here, which is a shame. Black extends, white Ataris, black takes. Again, did you need to take at that point? If you'd have played here as black, yeah, effectively white could now have done connected here, but there's no points there. So I guess this is better but then white gets to run into the corner and cause some damage to your corner. Okay, here we go. Yeah. This is not quite going to work, is it? Double Atari. Interestingly, I think that this is more important. If white takes this, then black can play here. And if white pushes, black can play here. It contains it better with less of a loss. This loss is quite big. And actually fighting the ko here by playing here, black takes, and there's a ko would be huge for white. And does white have enough ko threats to fight this ko? Well, that's a pretty damn good ko threat to start with. That black has to answer that. If black doesn't answer that, white will kill the entire group. So if I was white here, I'd have fought a ko rather than back off, and then black backs off. So I'd have fought the ko. And there we go. This is now endgaming. Yeah, tidying up. Not much to do. Not much to do here. Here, 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 here. Okay. So the outcome of the game, what we've got a score estimate here. White by 5.4, I think that's what it was. White's territory is all here. And some here, and some here. What is black? Black's got the centre territory, a bit here and a corner here. But notice what we have here. We have here 2, 4, 5 points. Well, 5 points are what white has here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In fact, there are 6 there. So these small self-living groups are, they're what we call a burden. They're a burden to us. And actually the exchanges that we saw here burdened black with that small group. And the exchange here, although black got points here, I think this Atari in this area was in the wrong direction. And there were misses by both of them. But particularly I think black early on, abandoning the 3 stones here on the right hand side, abandoning these guys when you had a strong shape initially here, like this, for this move in the corner, where I think you played this one, I think was a bad exchange. It gave white all of this territory, and at the end of the game, we were talking about 5 points. Could have been anybody's game, guys. Great fight, really enjoyed it. Thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed the comments. I hope that helped your understanding of the game of Go. I'm not trying to beat up on anybody here. I just want to see people get better and stronger fast. Okay, lovely to talk to you. See you soon. Thanks for that, and bye for now.